What's up, beautiful? Welcome to my channel. If you're new here, my name's Kat. This is my channel, and I think this might be the first official book haul I've ever done. I think I might have done a part of a video where I included some books I'd purchased from Barnes & Noble a hot minute ago, maybe when I lived in my apartment, which was almost 4 years ago, something like that, almost 3 years ago, whichever. Rory has come in. Come say hi. Nice try. She wants you to subscribe and be part of our Warrior Crew family, so be sure to subscribe down below so you can see more of Rory, and like this video if you guys want more book videos. Okay, so it is September, and this is the time where things cool down, and the idea of picking up a good book and squirreling up in a blanket is exactly what I want to do on a chilly autumn day. During the winter I love doing this, and I had kind of recently gotten out of the habit of reading, and so I started watching this YouTuber, Darling Desi. I'll link her channel down below. She's absolutely incredible, but she reads a lot of books, and I saw some of her book hauls and her recommendations for fall books and Christmas books, and I decided, okay, it's time to start reading again, and it's time to buy a crap ton of books. So hence here we are. I hope you guys like this video. Let me know in the comments below if you want more book videos. I also have been including the books that I'm currently reading on my Instagram, so be sure to follow me on Instagram if you want to see what books I'm currently reading on a regular basis, as well as daily content over there. I really suck at posting, but I'm really good at stories. So, but without further ado, let's jump into this book haul. So the title says 30 plus books. I have 28, so I lied, but I have one that's on its way to me and plenty more that are behind me that are new, that just aren't in this pile. So really there's probably I don't even know. This is actually one of my favorites that I highly recommend to anybody. Yep, It says what it says, and I've talked about this on my Instagram. If you are a woman, you need to read this book. I think men could take something from it too. I think women would enjoy it more. But I love this book. So while I'm technically only showing you 28 physical books for this haul, I do have more 40 or 50 total behind me that I've already put on the shelf, and I'm not pulling them off because it took me a hot minute to get this rainbow situated. Also, I was unaware that there's some big controversy between how to organize your books, and it's not that deep for me. This makes me happy, it is aesthetically pleasing, and this is how it shall stay. Okay, so I watched some other book hauls and decided to categorize these books in a specific way, so we're going by age group. So we're going to start with the 3 middle grade books that I have, and I actually finished this first one this morning. It is called The Midnight Hour. It's really cute. It's about a girl named Emily whose parents go missing at the stroke of midnight, and she discovers a whole other world within midnight itself that includes monsters and vampires and all kinds of stuff, and she goes on a journey to rescue her parents from the midnight hour. And it was really, really good, and it's the reason why I'm filming this video 3 hours later than I'd planned, because I couldn't put it down. I also left my bookmark in it because I wanted to show you guys this. I've also been purchasing a crap ton of bookmarks. I'll leave my favorite Etsy sellers below, but I thought this was too funny. It's Kronk, and on the back it has the Cusco's poison quote from Emperor's New Groove. It's hysterical. And I have a set of 3 of these, and they came from the Netherlands. They came super fast, so I'll leave the sellers for all the bookmarks down below. So one of the books that I can't show you is the second book in the series, which I literally ordered on Amazon right before hitting record. That will show up at my parents' house in Hilton Head, where I will be when you are watching this, and I will start reading that while I'm still on vacation. Next up is The Magnificent Monsters of Cedar Street. This was a recommendation from Darling Desi, and I don't know a whole lot about it. Cordelia is the main character, and there's all these monsters, and it just sounds really cute. And I've seen quite a few recommendations for this, so I'm just really excited for this. I'm gonna take it on vacation with me, and it has one of the other bookmarks I got from that same Netherlands seller, and it's the Aristocats. Sorry, the glare from the ring light. The back says, "Everybody wants to be a cat," which is on brand for me. So I will be taking this one on the plane with me. Okay, and this one a lot of people are probably going to judge me for, but it is an Ever After High book. I picked this up at the thrift store, and if you're not familiar with Ever After High, it's a Netflix series, and I think it was originally the books and then they turned it into a Netflix series, but it's all about the daughters and sons of fairy tale characters and how they have to write their own stories. And I really thought it was a cute little cartoon, so I saw this at the thrift store for $1 and I picked it up and I just thought it was adorable. I love how all of the pages are kind of bordered. And there's just something like really relaxing about a kid's book, like a middle grade book, because you know there's not going to be any horrible death in it or any super spicy scenes, and I do have some heavy spice books in here, but sometimes you want to break from that. I was actually listening to an audiobook and I had to stop reading it or listening to it because it had so much more spice than plot. Like I couldn't get through it because it's like, I like spice in a book, but this was insane. So, but this one is a Wonderlandiful World. I don't know anything about it. I didn't even read the back. I just grabbed it and I thought it was cute and I'll probably really enjoy this. Next up, I have 4 nonfiction books, and the first one is The Secrets of Six-Figure Women. I started this book. This has my favorite bookmark in it, also from Etsy. Really cool holographic bookmark. I think a lot of people get turned off by nonfiction because it can be boring, but I have purchased a crap ton of self-help books in recent months, and this one is really good. So the author of this book interviewed 150 women that either make 6 figures or want to make 6 figures, and she kind of analyzed why they are or are not making that amount of money, and then has come up with kind of the guide on how women can strive towards making 6 figures. So I am maybe a quarter, not even a quarter of the way into it, but it's good, it's fascinating, and I am excited to continue reading this. Next up is a self-help classic, You Are a Badass. I also have You Are a Badass at Making Money. There you go, there's number 30. And I started this one, again, I'm on page 28, and I haven't made it all the way through yet, but this one also looks fascinating. Another cute bookmark from Etsy. I love anything like moon related, so How to Stop Doubting Your Greatness, Start Living an Awesome Life. I love all these kinds of books, so really excited to keep reading this and then continue reading the rest of the books that Jen has written. Next up is Bossy Pants by Tina Fey. This is an autobiography. I have read this before, but I did not have a physical copy that was my own. I saw this at the thrift store and snagged it for $1. Okay, and this last one I also picked up at the thrift store. 99% of the books that I purchase are from thrift stores or secondhand on eBay. If you have a book you want to read, I would check eBay first, because most of the books that I have purchased here cost me $3 or less. And a lot of the booksellers online have like a buy 3 get 1 free, buy 4 get 1 free kind of a situation. So a lot of these books were free as well. So this one is Start Late, Finish Rich, a no-fail plan for achieving financial freedom at any age. Mama loves to read about making money, so I picked this one up. I haven't read anything about it. I have no idea. It just says, I recognize the author, which you can kind of see. There you go. I recognize his name, and again, this was like $2 or $3 at the thrift store, so I picked it up, and it's got like some interesting things in here. How I increased my net worth by $1 million in 10 years without really trying. Sounds like a plan to me. There is always money available for good ideas, mathematics of catching up. It just seems like a really good book, so snagged it. All right, next up, we have a hefty group of adult books. I should have prefaced this by saying I like a lot of like fantasy and like magic, witches, vampires, werewolves. I like that kind of book with some romance, and I like a little bit of spice here and there. So these first 2 books are by Laurel K. Hamilton, and they are the Meredith Gentry book series. I just finished Caress of Twilight. This is the second one, and I started Seduced by Moonlight, the third one. I started this yesterday and finished this like on Thursday or something like that. I have read books 1, 2, and 3 before, so these are rereads for me, and then I actually bought the rest of the series, which is down here, and you can't see it. So technically this haul is actually definitely way more than 30 books, but these are really great. So Mary, as her friends call her, is half fairy, and she is fairy royalty. She's been in hiding. She lives in LA, and she's a detective. One day she's summoned back to court by her aunt, where she's told she's going to be co-heir to the throne with her cousin, and whichever one of them has a kid first will be the heir and take over that fairy throne. There's 2 fairy thrones, and so it's a race to the finish, and we're through the 2nd book, and she still isn't pregnant, so, and trust me, she's trying. So I'm hoping it'll happen in the 3rd book. I only got like halfway through the 3rd book when I read these initially, so I didn't remember a whole lot because I read them in high school. But these are really good. They're kind of long, and the print is ultra tiny, so I have an app called Bookly that I use, and it tells me how many pages I read per minute, and when I'm reading the series, it takes me longer to get through these books just because they're kind of dense, but they're really good, and I really love these, and I cannot wait to actually finish the series. I don't know if the series is officially finished. There's 9 books, and she hasn't written another one, I think, since 2017 or 18, but I know a lot of people want another book, so I don't know. I'm trying to keep myself away from spoilers. Next up is a classic, Practical Magic by Alice Hoffman. People rave about this book. I will say, if you have seen the movie, which you can see lovely on the cover, I got this copy off of eBay. The movie is not a retelling of the book. So they're, like, I don't know how separate they are. I have no idea how different the book and the movie are, but I am well aware that the book and the movie are quite different. The movie is one of my all-time favorite Halloween movies, so I'm excited to dive back into this world, even if it is a slightly different story. I thought about bringing this on my trip with me this week, but I am going to wait a week or 2 until it really is spooky season for me to read this, so I might wait till like October 1st to read it. I just found out that Alice Hoffman actually wrote a prequel to Practical Magic, which I think is Lessons in Magic, something along those lines, and I'm really excited to pick that one up as well. Okay, next up are 2 books that I just picked up from the thrift store after just kind of looking at the covers and reading small bits about the back. I have no idea about these books or what their stories are. The first one is Midnight's Daughter, and it is a paranormal book about a Dhampir, which is a half-human, half-vampire, and craziness ensues with vampires and mortal enemies, and she has to go up against Dracula. I don't know, I just picked these things up. It had vampires on it, I picked it up. So, I know this is like the worst book haul ever. I have no idea what this is about, but it's got a girl in leather with a gun who's half vampire, and it looks fab. This looks exactly like something I would like. So same thing with this one, it's literally called Dhampir, however you pronounce that. This is about a vampire slayer, and the front cover, this is what drew me in, okay? The front cover says, a mix of The Lord of the Rings and Buffy the Vampire Slayer. That's enough, okay? That's all I need to know. That's enough. It was $1, I picked it up. And I used, I googled it to make sure this was the first book if it was a series. I hate buying a second book in a series and not realizing it, which I did, and I'll tell you about in a minute. We get to the YA novels. But I'm excited to read this. I think it should be pretty good, and if I don't love it, not a big deal. I will... Actually, my goal is if I don't like a book and I don't finish it and I have a hard copy, I'm going to look up little libraries in my area and go donate them to the little libraries instead of donating them back to the thrift store. I think that would be a cool thing to do. Next up is another true classic. I used to own a copy of this book, then we moved, and I got rid of like a whole bunch of my books, and I don't understand why. So like what you're seeing, other than like the next shelf down, is all the books I own. I don't know what happened to all my books. But Charlene Harris wrote Dead Until Dark, which was turned into True Blood. So I have to read this. And of course this is a huge series, and I know it is not, it's another series that the movie, TV show is not a direct adaptation from the book, so I'm excited to dive back into the True Blood world and get kind of a different story. Okay, this next book is called The China Garden, And I found this one again at the thrift store. It's set in London, and it's about a girl named Claire who takes midnight walks in the China Garden. She discovers that her town is in grave danger, and she has to work with a guy to fix it, and I don't know. It's a standalone novel, and it looked interesting. So I picked this one up, and I hope it's good. The front says, "Let Ravensmere die, let the land be torn open, the end of the world is surely betokened." Okay, they drew me in. This next book is the only true romance novel I think I have, which is Summer by the Sea. I'm going to the beach. I'm not going to read this at the beach because we're in almost spooky season, so I'm going to save this probably for the summer. But this is about a girl named Faith who will never forget the summer where she met her first love, and she leaves the beach and then comes back many years later and reconnects with that love. So it looks cute. It looks comfy and cozy and like a good book to read at the beach, and I like taking paperback books like directly to the beach because if they get water on them, I don't really care. Hard books, like hardcover books, I don't like taking to the beach, but little floppy ones like this is what I want to take. So this one looks really cute, and look, it's a great price. I think I got it for 99 cents. Oh no, $2.99. There you go. Okay, next up is one that I specifically sought out after seeing this recommended to me on another YouTube channel. It is A Deadly Education. It's about a girl that goes to a magic school where literally you either pass or die. Like you either graduate or die. And it just looks fascinating to me. The cover is gorgeous and the inside has a map. And like, girl, I'm a sucker for a map, but like, look at this. Are you kidding? Can you see that? Look at that. Fascinating. It looks really cool. Great reviews online for this, and it's got my third stained glass bookmark in it of Uzma, and it says on the back, "Pull the lever, Kronk." So this is one I'm taking on the plane, and I plan on starting this tomorrow morning. I am so pumped for this book. The next one is A Reunion of Ghosts. I picked this one up at Savers for $2.99, and it's about a trio of sisters that live in Manhattan, and they are cursed. And so they go on a journey to end their family curse as well as bond together as sisters. And it just looked really good, and the cover I think is really pretty, and I also really like these kinds of pages. I don't know if you can see that. I don't even know what that's called. All these booktubers and book talkers, and you know what I'm talking about, all the book talk people and booktube people, they all know what these things are called. I don't know what these things are called yet. Please leave them in the comments below so I can learn things. I'm excited to read this and learn more about books and genres and page styles and all of the things. The last section is YA. And it's a big one. A big section here. And I actually had to like Google some of these to see where they fit in, like what categories they fit in. So I actually ended up with way more YA than I anticipated. So, okay, let's start with one that I don't need to describe. There you go. I have read this book. I've read all of the Harry Potter books, but I listened to them, okay? And part of me thinks that's cheating. I know that a lot of people listen to audiobooks, myself included, but I didn't have any physical copies of Harry Potter, and I think that is wrong. So as I see them at the thrift store, I'm going to start snatching them up, and they're usually at the thrift store. I picked up this beautiful hard copy in excellent condition at the thrift store for like $2 or $3. So I'm going to keep picking these up until I have all of them. Next up, we have a Scott Westerfield book. So if you have heard of the series The Uglies, he's the writer of those as well. This is the second book in the Midnighter series, and apparently I just really like the idea of things happening at midnight. This one is about a group of teenagers who live in a town called Bixby, and if you were born on midnight, on the nose, or 11:59 or 12:01 essentially, you get access to an additional hour at midnight. Everything turns blue, the whole world freezes except those that were born on midnight, and there's like these bad creatures, and all the kids that are midnighters have special powers to help protect them from the darklings, which are the monsters. So I read the first one a long time ago. Actually, I read all three of them a long time ago. I have the third one right here. I had book 1 and book 3, but book 2 got lost from my collection. So snatched this copy up from eBay and I have started reading it, and I read the first one so fast. These are really, really fascinating. It's just a really good story and I usually can't put these down. So excited to finish this one, and another bookmark that I got off of Etsy. This one's really cool. It's got holographic, like rainbow holographic paper on it. And I asked the Etsy seller to add tassels to all my books, and she was kind enough to do so. Next up are 2 books from the Vampire Diaries series. So the first one is the one I'm currently reading, which is The Awakening and the Struggle. So it's the first 2 books combined into one. And I am still on the first book, and it has this adorable Harry Potter bookmark, again off of Etsy. I am a Slytherin, for those wondering. That should not be a surprise to those of you that know me. And these are nothing like the TV show. Again, another series, nothing like the TV show at all. And it's basically like the character names are the same and that's about it. Even the character descriptions are completely different and the characteristics of the characters are also different. So it's basically like a whole other story set with the same character names, and even the town's name is different. So it's just different and I like it. It's the same kind of world, so I'm still into it, but it's so funny that like they put Nina Dobrev on the cover of this one, even though literally Elena Gilbert is a blonde and she's kind of a jerk. So she is not the lovable person that they made Elena Gilbert in the TV show. So, but if you like the TV show, I would recommend reading these. It's different, but it's still really good. Next up is another book that got turned into a TV show, but this one didn't work out. The 9 Lives of Chloe King. This was out a hot minute ago, and I owned this book at one point. This giant thing includes 3 novels. I don't know if the whole series is 3 novels or not, but it's about a girl named Chloe King who ends up actually having 9 lives and cat-like reflexes and all kinds of fun stuff, and she goes on adventures. And I know I read some of this before. I loved the TV show, so when I saw this at the thrift store, I snatched it up. Another genre of books that I really like is the idea of like boarding schools for magical creatures, hence like A Deadly Education and Harry Potter and all those things. And Hex Hall is another one of those. I think I owned this at one point, but I never actually read it. So it's about a girl who finds out she's a witch. She goes to Hex Hall and she ends up with some enemies and some friends, and she goes on adventures and she figures out who she is as a witch and all of these things. And I'm excited to actually read this because I'm pretty sure I had it on my shelf and I never read it. But again, another witch-driven story and right up my alley. Next up is kind of more of a Christmas-centered book. This is a book about a girl who starts having visions and then figures out that magic is real, and it's set in Victorian London. She makes friends with a group of girls and joins their circle. They have to figure out what their destiny is. It's set at Christmas time and it just looks really interesting. So I don't know a whole lot about this one, but I saw it at Savers and I snatched it. So this next novel is called Lightbringer, and it's about a girl named Wendy who can see lost souls and she can help deliver them to the light. So there's a bad guy out there and he's taking in the souls and absorbing their powers and becoming more powerful, and Wendy's the only one that can save them and deliver them safely, essentially, to heaven, which is what I'm assuming the light is. And so she has to go up against this primal evil and save these souls from eternal damnation. So this one looks really cool. The cover is really interesting. It looks like she's standing behind like a chandelier of animal skulls or animal skulls. I don't know. It just looks really interesting, and I'd never heard of this book. That's one of the things I really like about looking for books at a thrift store, is because you never know what you're gonna find, and it might be something really great that you had no idea you would even be interested in. And so this one looked really fascinating to me and I grabbed it. Okay, the next one is a tried and true. I am a huge Rick Riordan fan. I don't know if I'm pronouncing his name right, but I'm a huge fan of his. This is book 1 of Magnus Chase and the Gods of Asgard. I actually have the second one right here, The Hammer of Thor. And I don't know if you can see that, but there's a bookmark right there. I started reading it and I didn't understand why I could not figure out what was happening in the story. And it was because this is book 1 and that's book 2. So I started reading book 2 before reading book 1, and now everything makes sense. So I am a huge Percy Jackson fan. I have quite a few books right above me that are also by him for other series that he's written that I have not read yet, but I love all of his writing. I love how he immerses you into these worlds and all kinds of mythology from all over the world. And they're always fascinating. So I grabbed this one the second I saw the spine. And I mean, all of his books are pretty recognizable just due to the beautiful colors that are on all of them. So I can't wait to get that horribly orange sticker off of there and stick this guy up here with his little friend. Actually, he's gonna go up here, I think, over there. I don't know. These are hard to place because they're always multicolored. Next up is a book that caught my attention because of the cover. It's called The Name of the Star, and it looked like Ghost to me, right? So it's actually about a girl who's from Louisiana, and she ends up at a boarding school in London, and it's in the middle of Jack the Ripper season. And she thinks she sees the guy that the police are looking for that they think is the Ripper. And so she goes after him and is trying to find him. And it just looks really good. And it says, a gorgeously written, chilling and atmospheric thriller. The streets of London have never been so sinister or so romantic. So I thought it looked really cute. All right, you guys, we're finally here. The last book. It is called Valkyrie. And I saw this, and of course I was aware of what Valkyries are. And they are part of course, the Thor, Loki, Asgardian legends, and this is really interesting. It's about a girl who is a Valkyrie, and she has to go off and decide if she wants to fight in the human wars or fight for her gods, and it looks really interesting. She spends time with the mortals, and then she realizes they're not as bad as she thought they were, and now she has a hard time deciding which world she wants to stay in and fight for. So again, I haven't read this one, but it looks really good. I saw this at the thrift store, and I'm really excited to see what she chooses and what kind of girl she is. All right, you guys. So that's it. I hope you enjoyed this book haul. I hope I did okay. Let me know in the comments below what you're currently reading, or if any of these books made you think of another book you think I might enjoy. I am gonna go and start A Deadly Education, I think. And be sure to leave me a green heart in the comments below if you made it this far, and I'll catch you in the next one. Love you, Warrior Crew. Bye! You came back. You came back for the ending.